Welcome to IAS project. We are continuing with lectures on ancient Indian history for UPSC Civil Services exam. These videos are also useful for state PCS exams. If you want to watch this video in Hindi, please go to our other channel, that is IAS Project Hindi. The link for this channel is given in the description section of this video. So, in our previous lectures, we have completed the basics that are required for understanding the Stone Age, prehistory, proto-history, as well as history. Now, in this lecture, let's dive directly into what is prehistoric period. We know the simplest definition of prehistoric period is that during the prehistoric period, there were no writing records available. This means the writing was not invented during prehistoric period. Now, we can divide the prehistoric period mainly into two parts. The first one is Stone Age. The second one is Metal Age. Metal Ages can be further divided into Copper Stone Age, Bronze Age and Iron Age. But we must remember here clearly that only such part of Metal Ages belong to prehistoric period where the writing was not invented. For example, we know that Harappan culture is a Bronze Age culture. But in Harappan culture, the writing was invented. So, Harappan Bronze Age culture does not fall into prehistoric period, but it will fall into proto-history. However, many of the megalithic cultures of South India, which belong to Iron Age, did not know writing. So, megalithic cultures of South India mostly belong to prehistoric period. So, this has to be kept in mind when we say that Metal Ages belong to prehistory or proto-history or history. So, such kind of ambiguity arises here. But there is no ambiguity in the Stone Age because Stone Age clearly did not have any kind of writing records or writing implements. So, Stone Age belongs to prehistoric period. Stone Age can be further classified into three phases. They are nothing but Paleolithic Age, Mesolithic Age and Neolithic Age. We will look at these individual ages in separate videos. But here, for a brief introduction point of view or for a brief introduction's sake, let me tell you Paleolithic Age, which is also known as Old Stone Age, can be further divided into Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic and Upper Paleolithic. Let's look at the definition of Stone Age. We know that Stone Age is a part of prehistoric period. And what did humans do in Stone Age so that it needs a separate definition? It is very simple. Humans in Stone Age almost exclusively used stone tools. They did not use metal tools. Now, what is the purpose of putting the word almost here? It is very simple. Because in the Stone Age, stone tools were used. But along with stone tools, bone tools were also used. Bones that mainly came from dead animals. But we must remember that initially in the Stone Age or in the starting part of the Stone Age, bone tools were not used. Towards the end of the Stone Ages, bone tools were used. So we can say the definition of Stone Age is the prehistoric period when humans almost exclusively used stone tools. But please remember, bone tools were also used at the end of the Stone Age. Alright. Stone Age is the longest part of prehistory because it almost lasted for 2 million years because humans have started to use metal only from around 6 to 7,000 years ago. Before this, metal tools were not used. However, stone tools were almost used for, let's say, last 3 million years. But in the case of India, we consider a period from almost 2 million years ago onwards as Stone Age. Now, we have just talked about how Stone Age can be divided into three phases, that is Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic. Now, what is the basis behind such kind of division? It is very simple. Stone Age can be divided into these three phases based on one, what is the geological age, that is it Pleistocene or Holocene? Next, on the basis of what is the type and technology of stone tools used. Were they using hand axes? Were they using blades? Were they using microliths? and all this. We will discuss about individual stone tools later, but for now let's understand that depending on the type and technology of stone tools used also, the Stone Age has been divided into 3 phases. Also, the most important one is the type of subsistence base, that is the food sources that people had. Were they hunting and gathering, or did they know agriculture? Or if they were hunting and gathering, what type of animals were they hunting? Were they hunting large animals like mammoths? Mammoths were like huge elephant kind of animals. Or were they hunting small animals like rabbits and deer? So depending on this also, Stone Age can be divided into 3 phases. The first phase is Paleolithic Age. Paleolithic Age is also called as Old Stone Age because the words Paleo, Meso, Neo, all these have Greek and Latin origins. Alright? And we know that the word lithic simply means stone. So Paleo means old and lithic means stone. So Paleolithic Age becomes Old Stone Age. Meso means middle, lithic means stone. So Mesolithic becomes Middle Stone. Neo means new, lithic means stone. So Neolithic becomes New Stone Age. We also have timelines here. So Paleolithic Age is the oldest part of Stone Age because it started somewhere around 2 million years ago and it lasted up to 12,000 years ago. Mesolithic Age was relatively for a short period of time because it lasted only nearly 2000 years. Please look here. It is only from 12,000 years ago onwards and it ended at 10,000 years ago. Neolithic Age is the latest age in the Stone Age because it started somewhere around 10,000 years ago and it lasted nearly up to 3,000 years ago. We must also remember that the timelines which are shown above, these timelines are not fixed or not same for every place within the subcontinent because in some places these ages started a little earlier compared to other phases. I will give you an excellent example. I'm sure you have heard of North Sentinel Island. Where is this? This is in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which belongs to India. In the North Sentinel Island, there are people called Sentinelese. Even today, Sentinelese people are living in the Stone Age. They basically depend on hunting and gathering. Many scholars do not believe that they know agriculture even. They do not know how to smelt copper. They do not know how to make bronze tools. They do not obviously know how to make iron tools. However, when they find some iron, for example, from shipwrecks near the island, they take that iron and make some tools out of it. But they do not know how to extract iron from iron ore. So these people are living in Stone Age even today. So we can simply say that these timelines are not same for every place within the subcontinent. So it is totally possible that, for example, in places like northwestern India, when Neolithic Age was happening, it is possible that in eastern India or southern India, it was still Mesolithic Age. So that is why this stretch of timeline is given. Now we have talked about this. Stone Age can be divided into 3 parts. The first is Paleolithic Age, which is also called as Old Stone Age because Paleo means old, Lithic means stone. And Paleolithic Age started somewhere around 2 million years ago in India and it ended nearly around 12,000 years ago. Mesolithic Age, Meso means middle, Lithic is stone. So Middle Stone Age. Middle Stone Age is like a transitional stage between Paleolithic to Neolithic. So it lasted for relatively less period of time, that is only 2000 years. And then we have Neolithic Age, Neo meaning new. So New Stone Age, it started around 10,000 years ago and it lasted up to almost 3000 years ago. Now let's talk about the first part of Stone Age, that is Paleolithic Age. As we have learnt, Paleo means old, Lithic means stone, so it is also called as Old Stone Age. We must remember that the words Paleolithic or Old Stone Age, these are the terms which are used in anthropology and history. And these terms or these periods which are used in reference of history coincide with a geological period also. and that geological or geographic period is simply called as Pleistocene epoch. Pleistocene epoch started somewhere around 2.58 million years ago. Please observe that this figure in old books, it is somewhere around 1.6 million years ago. So if you have an old book and you're looking at this figure, please don't get confused, because recent research supports that Pleistocene started somewhere around 2.58 million years ago. So please correct this number if you have old versions of textbooks. So Pleistocene epoch started 2.6 million years ago and it lasted up to 11,700 years ago. After Pleistocene epoch ended, Holocene epoch started. Alright, Holocene epoch timeline is from 11,700 years ago onwards until the present day. So we can simply say today the people are living in Holocene epoch. But Paleolithic age, as we know, the timeline is 2 million years ago to 12,000 years ago. This largely coincides with Pleistocene epoch, that is 2.6 million years ago to 11,700 years ago. So what happened during Pleistocene epoch? During Pleistocene epoch, a succession of glacial and interglacial climate cycles occurred. Now what do we mean by this? Glacial cycle means the time where glaciers are formed. Glaciers are nothing but those big structures of ice that move slowly or very slowly. Okay, so during the glacial cycle, glaciers started to be formed, or more and more glaciers started to be accumulated. And during the interglacial cycle, what happened was the climate became warm, so these glaciers started to be melted and rivers flowed. And then after this, again a glacial cycle came, and again melting of glaciers, forming of glaciers, melting of glaciers. These things continued a number of times during Pleistocene epoch, because this happened over 2.6 million years of time. So Pleistocene epoch had a succession of glacial and interglacial climate cycles. That is why Pleistocene epoch is also called as Great Ice Age. So we can say Paleolithic age that coincided with Pleistocene epoch, or Paleolithic age coincided with Great Ice Age, because Great Ice Age is nothing but Pleistocene epoch. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. For notes, please go to our Telegram channel. The link is given below.